Look, I hate to break it to you, but that no-log switch you just flipped is quite literally a digital placebo. See, whilst you think you're hidden, you're actually piping your data directly into a government-owned exit node. Picture a whistleblower for a second. They're sitting in a quiet flat, maybe in Berlin or London, having just leaked a cache of sensitive documents. They look at their VPN client. It says connected. It says protected. They feel a sense of relief, right? A moment of safety in an increasingly hostile digital landscape. But thousands of miles away, in a windowless room in Langley, Virginia, or inside the glass-walled donut of GCHQ in Cheltenham, a screen flickers to life. That whistleblower's real IP address isn't just visible, it is being logged, indexed, and cross-referenced with their entire digital history, in real time. I have spent months peeling back the layers on this multi-billion-dollar privacy industry, and the reality? Well, it's far more cynical than a simple data breach. These companies have successfully commodified your paranoia. I mean, they have taken your very valid fear of surveillance and sold it right back to you as a subscription service. It is a bloody brilliant marketing trick, but a devastating security failure. Think of most commercial VPNs like a fake security camera. It looks real, it has a blinking red light, and it makes you feel safe enough to enter the building. But there is no film in the camera. It's not there to catch the burglars. It's there to give you a false sense of security while the owner watches you from the back room. This creates what I call the open loop. You see, in cybersecurity, we look for systems that are self-contained and verifiable. But the commercial VPN market, it's a total black box. You are essentially taking a pinky promise from a company registered in a shell corporation in Panama that they aren't looking at your traffic. But if these massive corporations aren't actually protecting you from the state-level actors they claim to thwart, we have to face the most daunting question of all. If they aren't working for you, who are they actually working for? To answer that, well, we really have to look at the industry's favorite marketing slogan. No logs. You've seen it, right? Plastered across every landing page in YouTube sponsorship. It's a brilliant piece of branding. But from a technical standpoint, it is a complete fantasy. You see, in the cybersecurity world, proving a negative is a logical impossibility. Look, when a company claims they aren't keeping logs on a closed-source proprietary server, they are asking you for a massive leap of faith. There is no independent, real-time way for you to verify that a server sitting in a data center in Singapore isn't quietly mirroring your traffic to a third party. You are essentially trusting a black box, just because the UI looks professional.
And this is where the shell game begins. You might choose a provider specifically because they are based in the British Virgin Islands or Panama, supposedly out of the reach of the Five Eyes Surveillance Alliance. It sounds brilliant on paper. It feels like you found a loophole in the global surveillance dragnet. But if you start peeling back the layers of these privacy-friendly jurisdictions, the reality is far more daunting. Many of these companies are just legal smokescreens. They are shell corporations owned by massive, opaque conglomerates with names you've never heard of, often with deep ties to the very advertising and intelligence industries you are trying to escape. Think about it this way. Using a top-tier VPN is like moving your gold from a transparent bank vault where you can see the guards and the cameras. That's your ISP. It is not private, but the rules are at least clear and visible. Instead, you've moved that gold into an unmarked basement owned by a guy you met on the street who promises he won't look inside. Whilst the app on your phone looks clean and gives you that satisfying green checkmark, the back end is a centralized point of failure. You have taken your most sensitive traffic and handed it to a single entity, one that is entirely invisible to public scrutiny. The industry wants you to believe that jurisdiction is your shield. They talk about the Five Eyes as if a legal boundary in the Caribbean can stop a state-level actor from tapping a fiber optic cable. But whilst we were busy looking at the map, we missed the most critical detail. It's not about where the company is registered. It's about who actually owns the hardware. Because when you look at the physical infrastructure, the no-logs promise starts to look less like a feature and more like a trap. Or to be more specific, a very specific type of trap that has been used by the FBI and the CIA for decades. You see, the marketing teams want you to believe that a VPN is some sort of magic invisibility cloak. But look, in the world of signals intelligence, there is no such thing as invisible. There is only obfuscated. And obfuscation? Well, it is just a math problem waiting to be solved. This is what I call the architecture of deception. Let's do a quick deep dive into how you are actually being tracked, whilst you think you are safe. It is called metadata correlation. Your VPN provider might promise they do not log your search history, and maybe they do not. But they are still seeing your digital heartbeat. They see the exact millisecond you connect. They see the precise size of the encrypted data packets leaving your router. Now, imagine an intelligence agency sitting at a major internet exchange point. They see an encrypted packet of a very specific size leave your home in Manchester. And a fraction of a second later, an identical packet hits a restricted server on the dark web. They do not need to crack your encryption to know it was you, mate. They just need to look at the clock. It is quite literally a game of connect the dots, where you are the only dot on the map. But it gets much darker than simple math. We need to talk about the National Security Letter, or the NSL. This is the ultimate kill switch for your privacy. It is a legal gag order that allows a government agency to walk into a VPN provider's office and demand a real-time mirror of all your traffic. The kicker is that under the law, the company is strictly forbidden from telling you it is happening.
They can keep that brilliant no logs badge on their website, whilst simultaneously feeding every bit you transmit directly into a government database in Northern Virginia. I have seen this play out time and again in the cybersecurity world. It is a silent coup of your personal data. And this leads us to the most cynical reality of all, the honeypot theory. Think about it. Why would an intelligence agency spend millions of pounds trying to infiltrate a hardened private network when they can simply run the infrastructure themselves? By offering a fast, cheap, one-click solution with a cool logo, they attract the very high-value targets they want to monitor. It is an incredibly efficient way to gather intelligence. You are not the customer in this scenario, mate. You're the catch. Most people using these one-click solutions for the dark web think they are outsmarting the system, but they are actually walking straight into a digital cage. But whilst the technical side of this trap is daunting, there is one detail that everyone seems to have missed. And it is a detail that reveals exactly who is pulling the strings behind the scenes. Look, that detail? It's the corporate paper trail. When you actually look at where these companies are registered, and I mean really look, you're staring directly into the heart of the 14 Eyes Intelligence Alliance. But look, let's get to the verdict. I need to be real with you. If you're just using a VPN to bypass some Netflix geolock or to snag a cheaper flight, then carry on, mate. You're probably fine. I mean, the algorithm doesn't care about your streaming habits. But for the 1% of you who actually need real operational security, those of you dealing with sensitive data or navigating the dark web, you're being played, quite literally. The hard truth is, if the privacy is just one click, it's almost certainly a trap. It's a digital comfort blanket, designed to give you this false sense of security while the back door is left wide open for whoever holds the subpoena. You have to understand, privacy isn't some subscription service you can just put on a credit card. It's not a product you buy for $5 a month. It's an architecture. If you want real digital sovereignty, you have to stop paying for the illusion and start building. Look, I'm talking about moving away from centralized choke points and toward decentralized solutions. Use onion routing for your sensitive traffic. Learn how to set up your own self-hosted WireGuard instances on hardware that you actually control. It's more work. Well, it's certainly more daunting than clicking a shiny green button. But it's the only way to ensure the keys to your digital life aren't sitting in a database in Northern Virginia or some data center in London. The future of our digital freedom depends on us realizing this one fundamental shift in thinking. Privacy is something you build, not something you buy. Don't be another victim of the honeypot. Stop being the catch and start being the architect of your own invisibility. Because in a world of total surveillance, being invisible isn't just a choice, it's a necessity. So, I have to ask, are you actually protected? Or are you just paying for the privilege of being watched? Let me know your thoughts on self-hosting in the comments. If you want to dive deeper into how the architecture of the web is being weaponized against us, well, you should probably stick around.